Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the most up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's get our morning started with some markets update. U.S. futures are mixed this morning, with S&P futures up 0.03%, Dow futures down 0.08%, and NASDAQ futures up 0.11%. Markets are seeing green today following Monday's declines. The Treasury yield held a fall to about 1.28%, and the dollar has remained steady. Debates about whether price pressures are transitory remains unsolved, as yesterday's CPI report showed U.S. inflation was lower than forecast in August, but still elevated. Elsewhere in markets, oil saw gains after the U.S. industry report showed a drop in inventories of crude and gasoline. Gold has remained steady at around $1,800 an ounce. Over in Europe, the Stock 600 index saw declines led by retail stocks, with H&M falling the most since July after missing sales estimates. In the UK, inflation pushed higher than expected to the strongest pace in more than 9 years, prompting investors to anticipate a sharper increase in interest rates in 2022. Over in Asia, stocks dropped after reports showed China's economy took a knock in August from stringent virus controls and tight curbs on property, and as regulators told major lenders to China Evergrande Group not to expect interest payments due next week on bank loans. A debt restructuring could rise, and the prospect of wider social unrest and contagion in credit markets could come with it. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Shane, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning long, and, they were trading, nicely higher, but they've been pulling back, and they now I look at them and they're up 0.09%, which is, quite a difference from earlier in the day. I look at the day ahead and, we get some nice economic reports that are due out. Import prices for August. We have the industrial production capacity and utilization report for August also coming out, as well as the oil stockpiles report from the EIA that's going to be coming out today. These are really going to be setting the tone for the day, these reports. Right now, I don't see us moving. We're slightly positive. I don't know if we're going to be able to hold these gains. I'm concerned, I don't have much concern about oil because oil prices are, elevated right now. You had the API oil stockpiles report come out last night that showed a draw that's positive for oil prices. And this morning you have the EIA stockpiles report. A draw is expected. Again, that's positive for oil prices. But, you look over what happened in Asia overnight and you got to be a little concerned. The Asian markets were particularly weak. Hong Kong continues to show weakness. They were down 1.84% yesterday. That Evergrande Group, they're calling it a restructuring. I'll call it a bankruptcy. It's pretty significant over there. The China market, the retail sales, yeah, they were positive, but, not by 7%. They were positive by 2.5%, which is really due to the virus shutdown that they did last month. And then you also got to think about what's going on with casinos and China's new regulations. It's a slippery slope for these Asian markets, which is really what's affecting the European markets. And the European markets are, flat to lower this morning. So I expect the same here. But, hopefully by the end of the day, maybe we can eke something out. But I don't see it right now. So I'm still paying attention to earnings. And my attention there is minimal because there's a lot fewer earnings coming out these days. And we're just in that gully period.
We'll talk about earnings to watch. I know there wasn't a lot that came in, but we had something. But why don't you tell us about it?
Well, JKS Solar, that's Jinko Solar. They beat by 38 cents. They did do it on lower revenue, but to look at the stock, it's up 1.3% this morning, so that's positive. Skillsoft, that's ticker SKIL, Sam Kilo India Larry. They also reported better than expected adjusted earnings per share. The stock's up 1% this morning. Weber Grill, the stock's up 1.29%. Yeah, they did beat on earnings, but there is some concerns with Weber Grill going forward. But that's all I saw coming out this morning and last night, Shane.
Moving into our economic reports, Bill, why don't you tell us what we see as far as reports today?
Okay, in the pre-market at 8:30 a.m., we have the Empire State Manufacturing Index. Also at 8:30 a.m., we have the import and export prices. Then at 9:15, we get the industrial production report. At 10 a.m., we have the Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations report. And at 10:30, watch for the EIA oil stockpiles report. A draw is expected that's bullish for oil prices. But those are the reports I'm expecting to see this morning, Shane.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting off with some acquisition news. KKR, ticker KKR, and Cornerstone have entered into a joint venture to acquire and develop a portfolio of more than $1 billion in U.S. healthcare properties, and that includes 713,705 square feet of medical office buildings and ambulatory surgery centers located across 12 states. Also, Pentair, ticker PNR, has agreed to acquire Pleatco for about $255 million. Elsewhere on the tape, Caterpillar, ticker CAT, is having difficulty getting materials from suppliers who are reportedly experiencing worker shortages. CEO Jim Umpleby said in an interview that Caterpillar has had some isolated labor shortages in its factories, but the issue was mainly with suppliers, which was leading to increasing delays in deliveries. Umpleby said the company was continuously exploring options to adjust its sourcing and that it was offsetting rising material costs by raising prices on its equipment. In other news, Uber, ticker UBER, the chief technology officer, Sukumar Rantham, has resigned after less than a year on the job. According to sources, Rantham was at odds with Uber chief product officer Sandeep Jain. He plans to exit in early October. Rantham's predecessor had also stepped down recently last May after being with the company for 7 years. News on Pfizer, ticker PFE. Pfizer plans to apply to the FDA in November for the approval of its COVID-19 vaccine for use in children as young as 6 months old. The approval would be sought in coming weeks, assuming all data is continuously positive. News on Archer Daniels, ticker ADM. Archer Daniels has unveiled the ADM Food Technology, a fully automated flavor production facility situated near Shanghai. Here's something on Eli Lilly, ticker LLY. Eli Lilly will supply 388,000 doses of its COVID-19 treatment to the U.S. government for approximately $330 million. Lilly's share price is up 0.21% in pre-market. News on Ford, ticker F, Argo AI, and Walmart, ticker WMT. The companies are working together to launch an autonomous vehicle delivery service in Miami, Austin, Texas, and Washington, D.C. The last mile delivery service will use Ford self-driving test vehicles equipped with the Argo AI self-driving system to deliver Walmart orders to customers. The commercial service will be available to Walmart customers within defined service areas of the 3 markets and will expand over time with initial integration testing slated to begin later this year. News on CNH Industrial, ticker CNHI, and Nikola, ticker NKLA. The companies have begun a joint venture in Germany with a manufacturing facility dedicated to the Nikola electric heavy-duty truck, which will be ready to start production by year end. Nikola's share price is up 3.43% in pre-market. Lastly for me, one on Trimble, ticker TRMB. The company announced the development of a beta launch of SketchUp, which is a sketching tool for architects and engineers made for use in Apple's iPad. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
Well, Shane, I break my news alerts down into specific alerts for sectors and for events. It just helps me, jump on the hot news as soon as it breaks. I might see an earnings, I might see, a buyback. I could see something on a specific sector like electronic vehicles. This is how you, get first in when breaking news hits. I'm looking at my FANG alert this morning and I see that the staff of the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, they're going to be presenting their findings on business deals that tech platforms like Facebook and Alphabet or / Google did that were sometimes too small to prompt antitrust review. Now, there's 5 commissioners here and they're expected to also vote to scrap the guidelines that were put in place during the Trump administration because they're looking to put in much tougher, stringent rules going forward. I'm looking at Apple. The Apple event went as expected yesterday. They introduced new versions of the iPhone, the AirPods, and iPads. These changes are best described as incremental. They're not transformative. Coming out with a new camera. That's what they do. I bet when they come out with the next iPhone, it's going to have a new camera too. I was hoping to see something more transformative out of yesterday's product launch. I just didn't see it. News on Amazon, their rival, Rivavan, the automotive. This is a company that they're backed. This company is backed by Amazon and Ford. They launched its first R1T pickup for a customer delivery yesterday. Moving over to my Dow 30 alert, Microsoft. Hey, the board approved a new share buyback plan of up to $60 billion for shares to be repurchased. Now, the company said the program has no expiration date and it may be terminated at any time, but that's a big buyback, $60 billion. Wow. Cisco's holding an investors day today. It starts at 11 a.m., one to watch. JP Morgan, they're hiring some online trading executives so they can revamp their online trading products. Walmart Sam's Club, they're going to start to allow college athletes to monetize their names and images through Sam's Club, which I find really interesting. They're going to be paying these athletes like $10,000 for the use of their names and images. Merck, they got a PDUFA date today, so expect an FDA decision maybe this afternoon. And news on JP Morgan and Citibank. Citibank expects third quarter markets revenue to decline to low to mid-teen percentages from a year earlier. JP Morgan, they're expecting a decrease of about 10% according to executives at the two banks. They were at a conference yesterday where they were speaking. The lower revenues are a result of trading activities that have really been normalized from exceptionally high levels last year when the pandemic was in full force. And this was a virtual conference, but hey, trading revenue is still good. It's just not as good as it was last year. Moving over to the option activity, a couple of stocks that had increased option volumes yesterday. TMC, Tom, Michael, Charlie, ATER, Apple, Tom, Edward, Richard, HEAR, Harry, Edward, Apple, Richard, FinV, that's ticker FINV, Frank, India, Nancy, Victor. In terms of guidance, Crocs, they had a shareholders meeting yesterday, and in that call, Crocs said that they expect to see revenues of more than $5 billion by 2026. That's why you see the stock moving higher this morning. There's a couple of shareholders meeting going on today. Decker's Outdoor, that's ticker DECK. At 2 o'clock, they're having their shareholders meeting. And ConAgra Brands, that's ticker CAG, Charlie, Apple, Grace. At 3 p.m. this afternoon, they're having their shareholders meeting. But that's what I have as far as news events that I see this morning, Shane.
Let's talk about our Trade Talk picks for today. I'm picking Nikola, ticker NKLA, and this is off of the news about the joint venture they started in Germany where they're going to be manufacturing their heavy-duty electric truck. That's really good news for them. And, compounded with that is the news about Amazon and the truck that they just came out with Ford that's gone into production and just being sold now. I mean, that's great news too. And it's great news. It's positive news for the EV sector. So I think this could be something that shows Nikola some gains today. I would like to wait for some market weakness on this one simply because it's already up, 3.5% or so. Hopefully when things open within the first hour or so, we can see things dip lower so that we can find a better price to buy in at. But that's my pick. What's yours looking like, Bill?
Going with AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, Apple, Michael David. Listen, I'm looking at the option volume yesterday. They're very positive. You're looking at a 3.6 call to put ratio. I see that there's a number of positive research reports out this morning. The stock was higher. It has pulled back a little bit, but I do expect to see a gain going in AMD this morning. So that's my pick for today, Advanced Micro Devices.
Well, moving into what's hot off the press, the news is hitting the tape as we speak. Bill, what are some headlines we should let traders know about?
G-Sky, that's ticker GSKY, Gray Sam Kilo Yellow. The news it was halted, and the reason why it was halted is because Goldman Sachs is going to buy the specialty lender Green Sky. They're paying $2.2 billion or $12 per share for Green Sky, ticker GSKY. Here's what on Boeing. It's really out of Susquehanna. Boeing's upcoming catalyst should be able to move the shares higher, says Susquehanna's analyst.
One on EFJ, ticker EFJFA. The company is close to securing a merger deal with Pagaya Technologies that will facilitate the U.S. listing of the fintech firm. Looks like with the proposed deal, it would value at Pagaya at $9 billion. There's one on Citrix Systems, ticker CTXS. The company is working with advisors as it once again explores the possibility of selling itself. So the software developer is planning to gauge the interests of potential buyers over the coming weeks.
Here's one on Steel Dynamics. They just bought back about $280 million, or 2% of the common stock during the third quarter. They're expecting Q3 adjusted EPS to be between $4.88 to $4.92. The consensus estimate is $4.33.
Here's one on GOL. As part of the deal, GOL will get equity investment of $200 million or $1.05 billion from American Airlines, ticker AAL.
Here's one on AutoNation, ticker AN. AutoNation's targeting over 130 USA stores to be in operation from coast to coast by the end of 2026.
Goldman Sachs, ticker GS, is set to acquire GreenSky in an all-stock transaction. That. You said that one?
I read. Yeah. Okay. Wow, this is interesting. GameStop. Actually, it came out on Robinhood. Robinhood is going on a college tour to recruit new customers. Robinhood's ticker is Hood, HOOD. Interesting.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing this morning, Shane.
Same here. So that's what's hot off the press. Traders receive the same breaking stories we do and up your trading game simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out. Get a free trial. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Tuesday. I had Kroger, ticker KR, which opened at $43 and slowly edged down. Kind of went back and forth a bit, but ended up edging down to $41.79 for a 2.81% loss. Not a great move. Really didn't end up the way I hoped it would. How did yours end up doing, Bill?
I'm in the same boat. I went with Chevron yesterday. I really thought this was going to be a winner with oil prices moving higher the way they were yesterday. Stock opened up at 98.38. It did start to run. It actually hit a high in 98.74, but it just couldn't hold on to the game. The market selling pressure was just, pulling everything down, and the stock closed at 96.20. But I do foresee that stock moving over 100. It's just not going to be today.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.